And therefore, from his time up until our time, there has never been two copies of the Quran that are different even in one letter or one word. There has never been two copies of the Quran that are different even in one letter or one word.
The Hadith literature implies the standardization by Uthman was completed in his time in 651 AD, and from that point on, there was only one Quran universally read by all Muslims. For example, Sahih al-Bukhari 4987 mentions that after the standardization by burning variant Qurans, Uthman sent copies to the then major Muslim provinces. Although it does not name them in this hadith, the provinces are thought to be Kufa, Basra and Syria, and he kept one for himself. Although the prevalent view is that there were 4 copies, there are other traditions that say he sent 7 copies. This includes Mecca, Yemen and Bahrain. Although the previous hadith says the Quran was supposed to have already been standardized by Uthman in the 7th century, yet in the 10th century Muslims were still reading the Quran differently. These are not dialectical pronunciation or different vowelizations, rather they were added or missing words, letters and pronouns in the actual text. For example, in Kitab al-Masahif, which means the book of Qurans, Masahif is the plural of Mashaf, meaning scroll, referring to the Quran. It was authored by Abdullah ibn Sulaiman ibn Abi Dawood, who was the son of the famous author of Sunan Abu Dawood, one of the 6 canonical traditions within Sunni Islam. In his book, he details hundreds of differences in the Qurans from his own time of the 10th century and before. Kitab al-Masahif is just one of many Islamic books that are referenced in Islam the Honest Truth and mentions these different Qurans. As an illustration, from page 40, he mentions Quran 57:24. The people of Medina read the verse with no pronoun huwa, which means he, whereas the people of Kufa and Basra read the verse with the pronoun. Quran 46:15 had an extra letter alif, as read by the people of Kufa, ihsana, whereas the people of Medina and Basra read it as husna, without the alif. Ihsana is an Arabic term which literally means beautification, perfection or excellence. Its applied meaning is taking one's inner faith and showing it in both deed and action. A sense of social responsibility born from religious convictions. On the other hand, husna is a feminine word which means beauty, good or best, as it is applied to the phrase Allah having the best of names, Asma'ul Husna. The point is, these two terms are not identical either in meaning or in script. For Quran 36:35, the attached pronoun who, meaning his, was not read by the people of Kufa, whereas the people of Medina and Basra did. Quran 23:87, the preposition li, meaning for, is missing when read by the people of Iraq. The next 2 verses Ibn Dawood in his Kitab al-Masahif groups together. For Quran 42:30, he explains the people of Hijaz, Arabian Peninsula, read the verse without the extra connector fa, which indicates an immediate consequence. The people of Iraq read it with the connector. For Quran 43:71, the people of Iraq did not read the conjunction ma, which means whatever. Its purpose is to connect clauses. However, the people of Hijaz, Arabian Peninsula, read it with the conjunction. Note, so far what is evidenced is that these are not dialectical, diacritical or pronunciation differences with the original skeletal text of the Quran intact, as modern Muslims claim, by simply explaining the differences away as qiraat or ahruf. Rather, these differences are extra letters and words in the text, or missing depending on the viewpoint of the Quran. In all cases, it has the ability to change the meaning and the construction of the text. From page 51 in Kitab al-Masahif, Ibn Abu Dawud mentions Muhammad's close companions having very different Qurans. For example, the very first chapter of the Quran, in Umar's Quran, he read it without the relative pronoun al-ladina, which means those, as it is read in today's Quran. Instead, Umar read it with the word man, a subject pronoun, and instead of wala, which means and not, indicating negation, he read it with the preposition ghayra. Ali read Quran 2:285 without the words from his Lord, min Rabbihi, which is included when compared to today's Quran. Instead, in its place, Ali read it with the extra words and believed, wa amana. For Quran 589, Ubay's Quran had the extra words mutatabi'at, which means consecutive, which is not found in today's Quran. Also, Ubay's Quran had different wording for expiate for oath, which he read as kafaratul yameen, meaning expiation for oath. In today's Quran, it is read as kafaratu aymanikum, which means expiation for your oaths. For those who say these are only minor differences with a single word, letter or pronoun difference, consider Ibn Abbas's Quran 2:158. It has the extra negative word la, meaning no or not. Indeed, it is a small word, but it does have the capacity to drastically change the meaning of any sentence. In this case, from to do tawaf, circumambulation, to not doing it. Abdullah ibn Zubayr's Quran 5:52 has the extra word fasaq, sinners, that is missing from today's Quran. Aisha's Quran 33:56 has an entire sentence, those who pray from the first ranks, which is missing from today's Quran. Hafsa, Aisha and Salama's Quran 2:238 had the extra words Asr prayer, which is not in today's Quran. From page 54 onwards, Ibn Dawood mentions many differences from Abdullah ibn Masud's Quran when compared to today's Quran, bearing in mind he was supposed to know the Quran the best, as mentioned in part 1 of the series. These are not minor differences with the skeletal text intact. Rather, in his Quran were extra or completely different words. There are too many to mention, but as an illustration of some of these, consider Quran 440, where he had a completely different word, namla, meaning ant, in his Quran, whereas today's Quran says dharra, atom or grain. For Quran 2:198, he read the extra words fi mawasim al-hajj, in the Hajj season, which is missing from today's Quran. For Quran 2:229, Ibn Masud read it as they all fear, yakhafu, whereas today's Quran it says they both fear, yakhafa. Ibn Masud had an extra preposition an, which means about or regarding to, for Quran 2:217, which is missing from today's Quran. For Quran 2:233, he had a completely different word for complete, which he read as yukammila, whereas today's Quran it reads as yutimma. For Quran 21:82, Ibn Masud read a singular verb for diving, yaghus. Therefore, he had a singular verb for work, ya'malu. Today's Quran, it is in the plural for both verbs, yaghusuna and ya'maluna respectively. Ibn Masud's Quran 27:22 had an extra letter ya, as the verb wait was read in the present tense, fayamkuthu. In today's Quran, it is in the past tense, famakatha. In Ibn Masud's Quran 35:40, the word for proof, bayina, is in the singular, whereas today's Quran, it is in the plural, bayinat, proofs. In Ibn Masud's Quran 47:18, there is a missing relative pronoun, that, an. It is used to indicate a sentence that needs a clause. Today's Quran has this extra word which changes the vowelization and pronunciation of the subsequent word to ta'tiyahum in today's Quran. In Ibn Mas'ud's Quran, because he read it without this extra word, he pronounced the subsequent word as ta'tihim. As evidenced, contrary to the common contemporary Islamic rhetoric of an unchanged one Arabic Quran with the skeletal text intact, there has always been more than one Arabic Quran, each one with its own recitation, added or missing letters or words, which has the potential to change the meaning of a verse or a sentence. However, according to Quran verse 85:22, there is only supposed to be one perfectly preserved Quran that comes from the heavenly tablet, meaning there should only be one Quran in recitation and content. All these Qurans cannot all be recorded and preserved in the heavenly tablet, as some of these Qurans have extra words and letters. None of these differences should ever have arisen if it was indeed miraculously preserved from a heavenly tablet. The conclusion then, according to Islamic literature, the Quran was supposed to have been standardized during Uthman's time in 651 AD, when he burnt variants. He burnt all except one, yet Muslims say Allah gave the Quran in 7 readings. Nonetheless, Uthman cannot have been successful, because during the 10th century, Muslims from different provinces were reading the Quran differently. These were not dialectical vowelizations or pronunciation differences, rather extra letters, words and pronouns in the actual text. Muhammad's close companions read the Quran differently from one another. The Quran claims it is preserved in the heavenly tablets, but all these Qurans cannot be preserved, as some of them have added or missing letters and words. Modern Muslims make the claim that the Quran has been preserved to the dot, with no additions or deletions. This is clearly not the case, and early Muslims such as Ibn Dawood and others never made this claim.
Standardize the copies of the Quran, and therefore from his time up until our time there has never been 2 copies of the Quran that are different even in one letter or one word.